All right, if you're getting ready for the IELTS, you know the listening test can feel like a huge challenge. I mean, it's 40 minutes of nonstop focus. One little slip up and you could lose a point. But what if I told you the real secret to acing it isn't just about having great hearing, but about how you listen? Let's dive in and break it all down.
Yeah, this is the big question, right? What does it really take? And look, the answer isn't just, oh, practice more or try to listen harder. It's about actually cracking the code of the test itself. Because, let's be real, this isn't a hearing test. It's a strategy test. It's all about knowing the patterns, seeing the traps before you fall into them, and having a specific technique for every single type of question they throw at you. And that's what we're going to do today. Give you the playbook.
Okay, so first things first, we've got to decode this thing. Think of it like a game. You just can't win if you don't know the rules inside and out.
So at its very core, the IELTS listening test is basically a 40-minute multitasking marathon. You're trying to do 3 things all at once: listen to the audio, read the questions, and write down your answers. And it's really important to remember, this is the exact same test for everyone, whether you're taking the academic or the general training version.
Now, these are the rules you just can't change. They're non-negotiable. You're going to hear a whole variety of accents. You can't pause the recording. And, this is the big one, you only get to hear it once. That's it. No second chances, no do-overs. And that one rule right there is exactly why having a rock-solid strategy isn't just helpful, it's absolutely essential.
So, we know the rules of the game. Now let's take a look at the playing field. Here's how the test is actually structured, by the numbers.
You're facing 40 questions. That's 40 chances to score a point. Every single one counts.
And you'll be listening for 30 minutes straight. No breaks, no pauses. This isn't just testing your English, It's a real test of your mental endurance.
And those 30 minutes, they're split into 4 different sections. And trust me, they're designed to get harder as you go, starting with everyday social conversations and building up to more complex academic-style lectures.
Okay, now listen up, because this is a super important point, and it all depends on which version of the test you're taking. If you're on the paper-based test, you get a pretty generous 10 minutes at the very end to transfer all your answers over. But if you're on the computer, you only get 2 minutes. Just 2, and that's just to check what you've already typed. This really shows you why, if you're doing the computer test, you have to be confident typing your answers as you go. There's almost no safety net.
All right, so you know the format. But what are they actually going to throw at you in these 40 questions? Let's dig into the different question types and, maybe more importantly, the common traps that are designed to catch you out.
This test is seriously designed to keep you on your toes. One minute you could be labeling a map, and the next, you're filling out some complicated form. I think the biggest mistake people make is trying to use the same strategy for everything. It just won't work. You really need a unique game plan for each type of question.
And here's a perfect example of one of the most common traps: the instructions. You might hear the perfect answer. You write it down and you still get 0 points. Why? Because you didn't follow the word count. An instruction like no more than 2 words and/or a number isn't a suggestion. It's an absolute rule. Ignoring it is honestly one of the easiest ways to throw away points.
So when it comes down to it, these are probably the 5 biggest challenges you're going to face. Just trying to maintain your concentration for that long, losing your place in the recording, we've all been there, writing the wrong number of words, like we just talked about, not spotting when they paraphrase, and just getting distracted by tiny details. That paraphrasing one is huge. They will constantly use synonyms and different ways of saying things. Recognizing these traps is the first step to beating them.
Which brings us to our final and honestly most important section, your strategy for success. Because, knowing the format and the traps is one thing, but having a solid plan to actually beat them, that's something else entirely.
I really want you to let this sink in. Just doing dozens and dozens of practice tests over and over again without a real plan, that is not an effective way to improve your score. Real success comes from strategic preparation, not from mindless repetition.
So, here's the plan. It's a simple but really powerful 3-step cycle. First, you do the practice, take a full test under real conditions. Then, and this is the part most people skip, you analyze. Don't just check your score and move on. You have to dig into every single wrong answer. Why did you miss it? Was it a simple spelling mistake? Or maybe the speaker said at the weekend, but the answer needed Saturday and Sunday. See? That's a paraphrase you need to train your brain to catch. And finally, you develop a specific technique to fix that weakness. Then you do it all over again. That, right there, is how you truly get better.
So I'm going to leave you with this question to think about.
Are you just practicing, or are you preparing strategically? Because honestly, the answer to that question is probably going to determine the score you get on test day.